Good afternoon to all of you. Buenas tardes. We're coming from a match in which I was pleased with the performance. I was pleased with how we play, and the factor that I believe that if we play more games like the way we did the past game against in our field, I believe that we can achieve definitely a lot better results. I believe that we deserve 3 points, but we know that the games are not what you deserve, is what you put in. And even though I think we had a great performance against San Jose, at least the point is important, and we have to continue to build from that. But these are the type of performances that are more like us. And now we have a difficult game coming in front of us. We have RSL, which is a difficult team, and we have prepared very well in a small amount of time in 2 days to make sure that we have our ideas clear and the plan against a good team and a team that I know that is confident coming here. So we are looking forward to this match, especially at home, to play in front of our fans and continue to, God willing, provide performances even better than the one that we put last game.
We will start questions off with Kyle Garcia.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. I wanted to start things off by asking about the Jeremy Ebobisse trade. Obviously, losing Jabo, that's a big hole to fill kind of on your team. More than anything, I was kind of wondering if we could just talk about him and his on-field impact and what he brought with his versatility. What are you guys kind of losing in Jabo being sent off to San Jose? And was there anything you wish you could have done more with him, or anything that with how you utilized him in terms of like what you wanted to do with Jabo that you're now be missing out on?
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. It is important to address. I couldn't do after the game in the press conference because first of all, there was not an announcement made. The question came in, and I tried to keep it very short because it wasn't the moment to be able to speak. I can elaborate a little bit more at the moment and talk in regards to this situation. First of all, to express something that I think everybody knows, how dear Jabo is to all of us in the organization, what he represents for us as a player. He was always a very important player for us, and I think also there's an emotional part from the fans, from us, letting see one of the dear players from us, departure and leaving us this way. So I can understand that because we feel the same way. And in regards to that part as well, is something that is difficult, especially because when I arrived here in 2018, I remember Jabo was a participant on T2 and played some games on the bench there. Sometimes he was a starter. I went to every game in T2, so I saw not only him play, Eric, Renzo, all these players at that time, and I seen his development from that time to the final in 2018 MLS Cup, in which we remember his performance and now what he has become as a player, and his development is exciting. It's been great. It's been a work put in from him, from my staff, from myself, from the organization. So it has been a lot of work, and of course for a coach, you don't want to see a player with his capabilities and his talent go. So it's difficult. I think we now are a little bit in a difficult situation, waiting on Niezgoda to come back, which we hope that is soon. He's progressing in regards to that. Right now with Mora, that's been the center forward that is being reliable, source for us. A person that is there, and so it's difficult. But also, it is important to also understand that there was a plan in place in regards to Jebo. So as much as a coach and as an organization that we want him because it's important for us to succeed, because he's an important player for us. There was a plan in place in regards to, and I remember sitting with him and talking in his desire for the future. His desire for the future was always to do well here in order to prepare himself to be able to go to Europe. And the organization make plans in regards to achieving that goal. That was a personal goal for him. We embrace into this goal as well. And we try to work very hard to make sure that he developed and that he was important for us on the field to be the team that we needed to be. So part of those decisions, contracts were made and expectations were met in regards to what we thought that how things were going to evolve, and some players were signed thinking about that situation as well. And we know that in December it didn't happen because for one reason or another, we didn't get the request that from overseas teams, European teams that we expected to maybe be there at that time. And we came to this time in this summer window in which we had to think also, or the organization had to think about the future. And a decision had to be made also because the player saw an opportunity probably to be able to play in another team in which probably he will have less competition. And I will address that in a few minutes as well. And I'm sorry that I've been a little longer in this answer because I just wanted to address it fully. That way is clear where we're at in this situation. And with that said, I want to also leave clear that sometimes even though you want to see some things and you hope that some players can stay here for long, you understand and that this league has salary caps and in situations that organizations have to deal with and manage that are not easy to manage. And live, in understanding that me and Gavin have a great relationship. Sometimes as a coach, I want, to see some things, but I understand his part, he understands my part, and we're aligned with many things. And that is important to be said as well. But the player also had a desire to go because he sees less competition. He sees the possibility to play more minutes as a number 9 there. And I think that's also for him important for the next step in his career. Maybe in Portland, the competition was a lot higher and difficult. I would say through these 4 years that he's been here, he had to compete with about 7 or 8 either time or DP players. When you go back with Fernando Ari, Armenteros, Brian Fernandez, Valeri, Seba, Mora, Niezgoda, Melano. I'm mentioning 7, 8 DP time players that are very, very important, and the competition is bigger and more difficult. So even though Jebo has been minutes played, probably the number 1 striker, number 9 for the Timbers during my time, we had the opportunity as well to play him as a winger. And in the competition, sometimes instead of keeping him on the bench, it was better for him to play as a winger. And that allowed him to be able to mature, allowing him to be able to be a better player, allows to be a better team than instead of him being on the bench, being on the field, contributing in those moments that he wasn't playing as a striker, in which he was our top striker, looking at the stats and the numbers. For the 4 years, most likely he was the one that played the most as a number 9. And even in this year, I can go back to 2018, and he was a striker that played for 188 minutes. Every game he played as a striker. During this last season, in which now he left, he played 1,080 minutes, in which 770 something were as a striker, more than Mora, more than Niezgoda, as a number 9. In those other moments, he was able to play as a winger, in which he allowed to be able to find goals and be able to be relevant and still on the team. So even though he was a player in which I trusted 100% as a nine, he had a lot of competition, and I understand the reasons why he sees less competition in San Jose and the opportunity for him to be able to have a new place in which he can maybe progress to a different level. For us, he always is going to remain a very important player. He's very dear to us. We're going to miss him. But I just wanted to address the question from beginning to end. And if there's anything that I haven't covered, more than happy to be able to add anything that is out there to be questioned. But I think it's important to leave clear that for me, he's always been a striker that I trust, that I believe, that I develop with my staff, with the organization, and we hope that he continues to do really well.
Thank you, Gio. We will go to Nick Krupke next.
Gio, appreciate the explanation there. Obviously, it was a tough night for a lot of the guys in the locker room who knew Jeremy so well.
Hey, Nick, you're cutting out. We're going to come back to you.
What's your buddy forward in the season after losing one of the top players with the head?
Nick, you just cut out for quite a bit of that. All right, we will come back to you, Nick. We're going to go to Paul Danzer next.
Hey, Gio, I wonder if you could speak to J-Bone
I'm back.
in the community and in the locker room. We know him as a very well-spoken individual, very passionate about causes. Talk about that side of J-Bo and what you may lose off the field in not having him around.
Yes, I think that's a question that is important, maybe to someone else because of the community aspect of it. But what I can address in regards to that is it is clear that he's represented their club in a great way. He's a well-spoken young man, and he's just a great person. And as I mentioned before, we're going to miss him for those reasons as well. And he's someone that really embody so many things that the Portland believes, the Timbers, and I believe that that's an important part of it. And of course, he was a well-liked person in the locker room. But the guys, we spoke with the players. We had a conversation. He came in. He had conversations. So everything was very transparent in regards to the communication after the news was known and the players were aware, and he will remain an important part of this family, and that's what he mentioned as well in his talk inside the locker room. So sometimes it is important for players to continue in what they think is the next step, and we all support him.
Next, we'll go to Tyler Touchman.
Hey, Coach. I hope you're doing well. 2 weeks ago, you guys had two wins in a row and kind of started to seem like gain some significant momentum, and then just 1 point over the last two games. What do you feel like you guys did really well during that 2-game stretch where you won both of them, and how can you kind of get back some of that momentum moving forward?
Yes, I think we are being a little bit inconsistent this season, and we had some very good results against some very good teams, and then we have in the past 3 games, I think only 1 point, so it's not where we wanted to be. And nevertheless, I think, thank God, we have had some points made in those past results that allow us to now still be in a situation that we can, with the right mentality, with the right conviction, with determination of playing, together and doing the things that we did last game. For example, we have a great opportunity to be able to be in a good place. Right now, what I can tell you is that the group is in a good place mentally. Looking at the way we played last game, I thought that we looked very strong, different than what we saw in the Galaxy game, which, as I said, after the match, you want to criticize us, the players, me, after the game, go ahead, because there's plenty in the second half to do so. But we know that we are the team that played last game, and that's who we want to continue to be, and we want to make sure that our fans are proud, and I think we did that last game, and we have to make sure that we continue to do the same thing in the coming matches, especially the next two games that are home matches, that for us are very important to hopefully get to 6 points.
All right, we will go back to Nick Krupke.
Apologies for earlier, Gio. Any update on Steve Clark?
Yes, Nick. Now I could hear you perfect, so thank you. And Steve, right now we are assessing, evaluating exactly how long he's going to be. I don't think that it's going to be something that is going to take too long. But there's been MRIs done yesterday, and we are, as I said, evaluating exactly, how long is going to be the injury. So I don't want to put dates at the moment, but I don't think that is something that is going to be for long. But at the same token, there's the trust 100% in all the goalkeepers that we have. Ivasic, in this case, there's the trust in him 100%. He showed it last game, that when he came in against San Jose, and this, I believe that he can be a very good component of us in that position for whatever games he needs to play.
Back to Tyler Touchman.
Coach, I recently saw a picture on Twitter of Diego Chara in a Spider-Man outfit. I don't know if you had seen that, or if there was like a special occasion for that or anything.
Yeah, I don't follow Twitter, and I don't follow social media, but I did see Diego this morning, and that was very funny. I mean, it took us for surprise, and it was incredible. It's the fun part of this job, being with these players, and this locker room is a great locker room. It's made of so many great people before players, and moments like that are just the fun part of this business, being in a club like this. So it was incredible how he came as with the uniform of Spider-Man. Unbelievable.
Do we have any last questions for Gio? We'll go back to Paul Danzer.
Hey Gio, can you just update us on Blanco's minutes build for Seba, and then talk about Real Salt Lake and how they challenge you maybe differently than San Jose did?
Okay, I heard about Seba. Did you ask about some other minutes of?
Yeah, just talk a bit about Real Salt Lake and what they
Okay.
do that's maybe different than San Jose.
So definitely, Seba we've seen he's playing more minutes. He's doing much better. He's feeling more comfortable. He's a spark when he comes into the field. So that's very, very important, as he was Valeri when he came in, and all the other players as well, which is great. So we'll see more minutes from Seba going forward, a little building up more and more. Salt Lake, we know what the way they play. They have a unique way of playing. We believe that in the plan that we have put together to play them this time, and I think it's going to be a very good match. It's always been great games when we play Salt Lake, at home or away. So I don't believe that this one will disappoint. I believe that it will be another exciting game between two teams that really want to play.